So, come to talk about the differences for those of you who might not know. This is a katana. Shallow curved blade, about 2 feet long blade, handle meant for two hands, and the proper grip is to have your hands divided like this. Not like how they always show it in the cartoons and movies. But on the other hand, the ninja sword is supposed to be much shorter. It's supposed to be much shorter. However, a lot of things advertised as ninja swords that you will find will be just as long as a regular katana. So, I got this sword because it was historically inaccurate, because I wanted something that was associated more with ninjas and associated more with the Hollywood ninja. Even though I'm a bit of a sword and ninja enthusiast myself, if you couldn't tell by the opening of this video. I wanted it for personal reasons, and I wanted something that was shorter than a regular katana, since that's what the ninja look is. Now, down to the historical aspect of this, there are many theories of how ninjas would get their swords. One, and probably is most likely for the earlier ninjas, was that they would simply steal them from samurai, or I guess anyone else who might own a sword. I don't know who else would have been allowed to own a sword during Japan's feudal period. So, another theory might have been that they possibly made their own swords, which would actually explain where a cheaper looking design would have come from. The third theory has to do with after the Tokugawa shogunate, ninjas were declared their own social class and therefore had certain rights similar to the samurai. And thus, the theory is after that, their signature weapon was made. However, their signature weapon during that time period was not straight bladed. It was much shorter than a katana, but it was still curved. And it was shorter. My understanding is that this design for the blade was called a shinobi katana. Might be butchering the pronunciation, forgive me. So, in short, we have ninja sword, not historically accurate, but I would like to point out one thing that I've heard this comment somebody made. Actually, it was Screw Attack made this comment when they were talking about the Ninja Turtles, and they said that Leonardo wields dual ninja ken. They said, I suppose that could also be right. It's a ken meaning blade or knife, kind of, and actually that rolls off my Western tongue a lot easier. Ninjakin sounds it's a lot more compatible with my speech patterns, being an American. So, I think, though, that Eastman and Laird, the original Ninja Turtles creators, I think they always intended Leonardo's swords to be katanas, especially considering that they were often asked by fans if they practiced martial arts, and they said no. Our inspiration mainly comes from Bruce Lee movies and the Kung Fu TV series. I doubt anyone remembers that, if anyone's gonna watch this. But I think that the straight bladed edge was just an artistic license on their part, but they always meant for him to be using katanas. Also, my understanding is that it's supposed to be some kind of faux pas to use a katana left-handed. I'm not 100% sure on this, so don't quote me on it. Also, they're ninjas, so they might not care as much about sword etiquette, especially since the samurai believed that the sword was an extension of the self, and ninjas might not have bought into that kind of spiritual thing. I don't know. I don't know. Not a lot is known on ninjas in general, so there you go. Also, it depends on what iteration of Leonardo you're looking at, depends on whether they're ninja swords or katanas or, I suppose, samurai swords. They usually look pretty straight-bladed. I think in the 2007 movie he was using more katana-like blades. In the 2000 series, the 2003 series, they certainly looked more katana-like. In the 87 version, I really think they look more like the Chinese broadswords or the Daos or whatever you call them. A lot of times, or even sometimes, I think they look like machetes. So, well, there's my 2 cents on it. Not historically accurate, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily dismissible as a useless blade. I actually use this as a machete often. I'm looking to get an actual machete. This sword has been a very good sword, and it came from Tenryu Blades. I highly recommend anyone who is interested in learning not only about katanas, but how to put them together. This was a construct-it-yourself kit. I actually kind of wrecked it by using a carpenter's hammer to hammer in the pegs. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of wrecked. And you're really supposed to use this small hammer that comes with it. This has a name, but I can't remember what it's called. And this is supposed to be used to put it together, and also deconstruction for maintenance. So figure out how to properly use it before you put it together, or make the same mistake I did, which actually the video I watched for the tutorial said to use a rubber mallet, but I didn't have one, so I used a regular carpenter's hammer. But you're really supposed to use this, although it's very difficult to use this. This, on the other hand, came from Shinwa. I don't highly recommend this model, specifically since I've been using it and I know how bad it is. It's, this race skin feels fake. If you look right there, there's a gap right there where they didn't cover it with the hand wrapping or anything. This pommel, I forget what the Japanese word is, kind of feels plasticky. The Suba is nice if you want the square Suba, I don't know what that hole is there for. Oh wait, yes I do. It's for this sort of a myth about the ninjas using their swords to climb up walls by sticking the sword into a wall and then tying this part around their ankle to bring it back up with them. I don't know why. I might need to figure this out, but this sword is actually particularly hard to carry on your back. However, a katana is not, so that might also answer part of the shinobi ninja sword blade argument. If, well, they're always portrayed as having the swords on their backs. And, well, John sees this, he's gonna cringe, as if anybody's gonna see this. But, this has been a good blade. This has not. This is from Shinwa. Shinwa kind of has a stigma in the sword collecting community, of course. I know that now. It is, of course, straight bladed. It came pretty dull. I tried to sharpen it, but I'm not a swordsmith or anything, so I just kind of scraped up the edge. It says Damascus. I have my doubts about this being genuine Damascus. Of course, the Damascus folding system has been lost, so really when you buy a Damascus sword, it's just folded steel. It also says China, although Shinwa doesn't hide that they make their swords in China. But when you're outside playing ninja, it certainly takes away the authentic feel when it says made in China. It also has the Shinwa logo right on the blade, which again takes away the feel of it being a ninja weapon. Also, this fuller in the blade. Fullers weren't really used in actual Japanese swordsmithing, but it makes a swish noise when you swing it through the air, which I had seen other ninja swords advertised as specifically not having a fuller so that they won't make a swish noise because it's black, it's stealthy, it's a ninja sword. Oh yeah, and back to the Damascus aspect. I've heard that a lot of times these Damascus swords will really just have their folded steel patterns put in them with decals and acid. And with the scratches I made trying to sharpen it, it looks like this might be one of those. Also, it vibrates a lot. And Japanese swords are not supposed to vibrate because they're supposed to be stiff. It's one cut, one kill. And this one does not remain stiff while striking. I tested it on water bottles, of course, found that it makes a much better stabbing weapon than it does a slashing weapon. However, this is good for stabbing or slashing, and she's been a good sword. This one is not. However, I am looking to sell it if anyone wants a ninja sword just to mess around with or hang on the wall or anything. Feel free to contact me. I think you can see my email address on my YouTube channel, as if anyone's going to see this. And that's my 2 cents on the debate. Hope you found this educational or at the least entertaining. I kind of stole that line from Skallagrim. He's been a big inspiration to me, by the way. Thanks for watching, as if anyone's gonna see this.